I don't care if my girl drew her name in the you know what and the you know where. Once the phone would have came out, I would already know, dang, this might be true. And I'd have been like, I don't need to see it because it's none of my business. And that would have been it. Hey guys, what's up? It's Cecily, and this is my reaction review to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Before we get to see what their houses look like, they actually live here, and I'm here for all of that. Off the top, the Best Dress Award goes to Erica. She cleans up. She's like a living doll. She's beautiful, and she wins hands down. I mean, I can't stand to look at her. The most creative is Garcelle. Most creative. I love the theme. I love the colors. They look gorgeous on her skin. The only thing is I wish that her wig had more volume. I just wish it had a little bit more volume. She has gorgeous cheekbones. She has an angular jaw. And with her suit, I just felt like if she gave us a little bit more fluff, that it would have just been like candy. I also think that a smoky eye would have been really cute with the nude lip. I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not a stylist, but I really feel like that's a smoky eye would have really brought out her, very slanted eyes. Can you say slanted? Almond shaped eyes, and the nude lip would have been darling. Okay, most likely to do their own makeup, Denise. I don't know what happened. Denise's face did not match her clavicle, her décolletage. She definitely didn't do the matchy thing. The eyes were rimmed heavy with looks like an old school liner. There was no bronzer to even out the paleness. Her face looks kind of gaunt in comparison to what we saw before. So maybe she's really stressed out, lost some weight. Maybe she's pale for, health reasons. I don't know. She's under a lot of pressure. She seems to be a person that internalizes a lot. So it's kind of like, I think she's a gorgeous woman. And I really was hoping that, sometimes the right beat gives you the confidence you need to slay everybody. And that's, I don't see it happening visually, but maybe she'll get it together. The opening montage had me taking shallow breaths. It was super impactful. Like what they do, like what they do. It was a lot. Mad love to Garcelle wearing Asa's jewelry. Asa from Shaws of Sunset. Like she's still out there creating and doing her thing. I think that was awesome that Garcelle also represented a Black designer. Hello, hi. I want to see more of things like that. Use the platform. Use the platform. It's there for you to use it. I also say thank you, Garcelle, if you're listening, for you to put those words together about what it's like to be Black in America right now, for you to be someone that everyone recognizes. Everyone's familiar with you. You still look the same as you did before, but to express that even a person like you, a person with privilege, a person who doesn't necessarily even live in a just Black world, you have the access to everyone, and everyone knows you and everyone loves you. And even someone like you has to think a little bit harder and be a little bit more intentional when you come in contact with the police. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that was like, okay, people need to download that and understand that wealthy African Americans, educated African Americans, what you might perceive to be an attractive African American, like no matter whatever type, throw in the types, they all at some point with certain individuals reduced to being some sort of like stereotype and treated unfairly. I loved how she summed it up. Beautiful words. You are a queen for that. And you win the day. I don't care what happened after that. Just kidding. So I want to say first and foremost that Denise is lucky to have a friend like Garcelle. I don't know how deep the friendship is, but I'm a girl's girl and I write for my girls, and I love that she showed up for her even when it wasn't popular to do so. Even when it was like we've decided we don't like her, Garcelle was a ride or die. And so if I won her friendship, I would keep her forever. That's just it. Like, I'm not gonna, nope, that's my girl. We can talk about something else. That's the kind of girl I want to roll with. They did a montage of Garcelle's asking questions, tough questions. Maybe some people might think that they were rude or intrusive. And I thought, hell, like, how do we get from A to Z? These shows are popular because people are on their worst behavior. Let's just be real. And so I thought she did a really great job in just kind of like ruffling feathers and resetting interactions with people by saying, so how you get your money? Like, we can't go back to, hey, oh my God, hi, like, oh my God, you look so cute. Like, once we cross that threshold, we in it. You know what I'm saying? We're in it now. We're knee deep, and now I can decide whether I like you or not. And I think that is a great strategy. It's not going to work with everybody. It's not cool for everyone because it felt like she's probably coming for them. But I thought it was an amazing strategy just to say, all right, now that we peel back the layers, who are you? I honestly do feel, delving into Kyle and Garcelle's stuff, I do feel like Kyle was blindsided. I have a feeling, and living here in LA and having girlfriends that are, I know Kyle. I know her personality type. And they generally feel like if they're nice to you and you accept it, that that's enough. And that I'm giving you what you should have. I like you, so I'm giving you my I like you package. And you may look at that package and say, I don't like this part. But most people are going to be like, oh, she's so cool. She's so sweet. She's so nice. I'm going to take that I like you package and I'm going to run with it. But Garcelle is not that kind of girl. She's like, I looked through the package and it seems a little bit light. And so this was the disconnect. When Kyle said, well, that's what I give to those I like, and that should be enough. And when Garcelle said, hey, well, I feel slighted, Kyle was like, I said that that was enough, and that was your I like you package. And that's where the difference is. That Kyle was not open to hearing that Garcelle wanted more from her and that she wanted some sort of engagement. And friendship is a two-way street. You can't decide to be friends with me and say, I only want to be friends with you in this way. You have to, it has to be an exchange. And so I can't call you my friend if you don't do what I need you to do for me, if you can't serve me in some way. And then you negotiate. As friends, you negotiate what that is. If that's talking on the phone, that's hanging out, that's sharing memes, that's doing play dates. Like, we all have our own friendship love languages too. And it seemed that Kyle wasn't interested in Garcelle's. I do feel that there is something awry with the auction. And I don't know if Garcelle's being 100% about paying the bill, but it's hypocritical for Kyle to say, hey, you know, you hurt my feelings when she was in her confessionals jabbing at Kyle. But my thing is, if you felt that maybe the jabs also had something to do with her not paying for the item at the auction, then why wouldn't you text her before that? Or, let's keep it real, business to business, have your nonprofit or your business people reach out to her, send some correspondence, or hey, there's some things that need to wrap up with the auction. So glad that you came. I really appreciate you coming. Who can I get to contact? You know what I'm saying? Can I talk to a business manager or who? You know, they could have worked that out. They didn't have to work that out on camera. And I think Kyle really wanted to embarrass her. And that just goes to show that maybe there was some tea there. And now, so moving on, I really do feel that Kyle does glaze over people. I do feel like sometimes she doesn't really show a lot of depth. I think she's like one of the nicest. I think she has a, gosh, I don't want to call it shallow, but I think she could be kind of surface, very surface and pliable. And I don't know if that's the showbiz in her or if that's the, I just want to, you know, be a people pleaser. I want to appeal to be nice. I don't know. It's armor for sure. And I feel like she once people start to attack her, then the armor comes off and there's like this little girl in there. Like she goes quick and fast back to like the 8-year-old version of herself. And it's just kind of like, what is it, everybody? You know, it's just very, very intense. And I wonder if she's ever got any therapy or something, because it just seems like it goes from almost kind of robotic, like, hey, hi, whatever, and lots of fun and cool, and seeming to be even kill, to like this spastic, like, I gotta get out of here or else kind of thing. And that seemed to kind of come from nowhere. Moving right along, I do believe that everyone's terrified of Black social media, and Black social media is a thing. And I think the reason why it's probably so scary now is because no one wants to be called a racist. I think that's probably the most feared thing right now. But if you were to talk about this a year ago, I will say that Black Twitter in particular, which is a place that we don't all inhabit, just so you know, we're not all members of it. Like, there is a force, an invisible force of people that are always moving in a certain direction. And these people are in politics and everywhere else. Like, you can find these people who just kind of push a narrative, will latch on to a hashtag, create content for it, and keep a thing going. It's like a campaign. They're all like little campaign managers, just kind of like nudging things for it. And I do believe that you've got a lot of people who support these shows who have wondered, like, why? Like, why don't we see more people of color on these shows? And there's definitely tons of people of color in Beverly Hills. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these Black stars, all these Black people that are behind the scenes, people who married Black people. It's just kind of like, why was it so whitewashed for so many years? I watched it because I know people like this, and a lot of this stuff reminds me of, like, you know, it's a much more closer depiction of the things that happen here in LA than anything else I've seen. So I support it and I like it. It's fun to watch too. And I like that they've integrated actresses. I think that it's a fascinating way to get to know some of your favorite actresses and things like that. And I do think that they need to implement more people of color. And Beverly Hills is just one place. You got Malibu, you got the Palisades. I mean, there's so many different, I mean, hell, you've got Calabasas. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all different places. So why not? Why not create a whole bunch of these places? Moving right along to Erica. So I love how Erica used the time that Andy devoted for her and asking how she felt, being that her son is a police officer, and she took the moment that could have been dedicated for her to say, hey, I'm a mom, my son's out there fighting a good fight, and this is how this is going on, and Blue Lives Matter, and all that's fine and dandy. But she took it and she turned it around, and she said, we're still trying to right the wrongs of racial injustice, both the institution, racial equity across the board. And I thought that was so classy of her. But I mean, she just got it. Like, she's just wrapped very, very tightly. I'm loving the package. Sutton. I really didn't know how to feel about Sutton. And I feel like we're really getting to see Sutton's true personality. I feel like we wasted our time in going back into the bag with the thing with Dorit and the thing with Teddy. I mean, I honestly feel like Teddy and Dorit can kind of be a little boring too. But Dorit wears cute clothes and I like the way her voice sounds, so it works for me. But I do feel like, and the first time I watched it, when Dorit told on Sutton, it was so uncalled for, but it definitely gave us a taste of how two-faced Miss Lisa Rinna can be, because I would not imagine my homegirl in the corner, who I brought out with one of my other homegirls, saying, hey, she's about to ruin your daughter's thing. And I'm like, no, she wouldn't do that. She just wouldn't do that. You know, like I just wouldn't have believed it. I'd have been like, yeah, right, anyway, and took my friend aside. But I do think that Dorit should have asked Sutton, like, can you clarify what's happening? Like, what's the emotion here? Is it fear? Is it anger? Because if it's fear, she's probably less likely to actually do anything crazy. If it's anger, if you're being confrontational, then it's something different. It's only a few words. All you had to do was ask. As far as her telling Teddy that she was boring, and then the little mean girl thing about the pregnancy thing, I kind of got it. Like, I do have friends that are sarcastic like that. And even though it's like a bit of a, you know, it's like being nice, nasty, you know, it was definitely not something that she should have did with Teddy, because it was clear that Teddy was not someone that she was interested in. Had she did it with Kyle, someone that she does respect, and you know what I mean? Like, then I think I would have been like, oh, so that's the kind of girl you are. Kind of snarky. Okay, fine. You know, then it would have made sense down the line. But to test snarkiness out on the weak ones, it kind of came off like a bully. Super disappointed about Denise and all this stuff. One thing I will say, just in regards to the whole season, whatever Denise does in her bedroom is her business. And I don't know how these ladies didn't stop this from getting out. When it comes down to it, we all are supposed to have each other's back. We all have family members, things like that. Like, there's got to be a line that you draw. And it seemed like mostly everyone just kind of let things come out for shits and giggles. I don't care if Denise made me feel uncomfortable 2, 3, 4 times talking about sex around her kids. I would not have allowed Brandy to do what she did. And it's clear that Brandy's motive is that she wants to get back on the show. She wants to get back at Denise. She's just a maniacal type of personality, and she's never innocent. So it's just so weird how we're trying to make it seem like she's almost a victim in this regard, and she's a consenting adult. She doesn't need to be protected. She doesn't need anyone to hold her hand and to help her through this process. She's living the life. She's in the life. I don't know why Denise did not just initially say, I mean, they were like, she said she had sex with you. I'd be like, you should have heard what she said about you. And then I would have moved on to the next conversation. I would have never stayed. I would have never ruminated over any of those things. And I think, unfortunately, for Denise, that she didn't shut it down. And shutting it down doesn't mean getting up and walking away. It's like, girl, she could only wish. Anyway, what are you doing? Why she say it? I don't know. Why don't you ask her? Why don't you tell me? Anyway, like what? What is this? Like, do you want this to be true? You know what I'm saying? Like, confronting everyone head on rather than crying and getting up and going and talking too much really did blow up in her face. I think that several lines were crossed. But the ones that really irritated me the most were when Brandy shows up. We don't know how she got here. Lies and deceit. Like, it just goes to show how messy you guys are. And anybody that stayed around to watch that, although I really feel like Dorit did a really good job of staying impartial. I mean, not impartial, but really just trying to stay neutral and be supportive of Denise in her absence. It just felt like really high school, really nasty, really, really nasty. It was really, really bad. I would say that the line for me was when Brandy was like, here are the text messages. I don't care if my girl drew her name in the you know what and the you know where. Once the phone would have came out, I would already know, dang, this might be true. And I'd have been like, I don't need to see it because it's none of my business. And that would have been it. That would have been it for me. I'm not going to indulge. I'm not going to look. And I really do feel like, I feel like once Teddy has that baby, that they need to let her have it. I think that she's a rabble rouser. I think that she has a lot of dark energy, and she's like negative. I think she's a negative person that hides behind, being naive or young, or, just why? What do you mean? I just think that she actually can be negative, and I think she brings out the negative in Kyle. I think that they match on that frequency, and they are mean girls. I think they really are mean girls. Yeah, I hate to see Denise flounder the way she is, and I really was hoping that she would come to the reunion beat, and that she would have talked to all of her people to empower herself, to say things with intention, and be like, next question, next question, next question. It wasn't like that. It was very much her trying to hold on to something, and it's just hard to see a woman squirm like that based off of something that she may have done in a fleeting moment of just like serving oneself. And now this is the subject of our conversation. Like, it's just really, really foul. And I don't care if I do talk about my husband's wing winger. Like, I get to decide on what I want to talk about and what I don't. And I can be open with you this week, and I can change next week. I'm entitled to change. I don't have to be the same person for you. Like, because you're having a hard time resolving who I am, has nothing to do with me. If I'm giving you Mother Teresa this week, then that's what you're going to get. If I'm giving you Mama Teresa next week, then that's what you're going to get too. So I think that they are being ridiculous and assuming that she's going to be, hanging from the walls and all that at all times. People are entitled to change, and people are also entitled to privacy on levels. I don't believe that being on a reality show means that we need to know who you're having sex with. I don't think that being on a reality show means that we need to know what supplements you're taking, what you eat for breakfast. I feel like you get to offer what you want, and that's between you and Bravo. And I don't believe that your sexual orientation or who you have sex with has anything to do with anybody. I just don't think it does. I will be tuning in for episode 2 and 3, because it's gonna be 2 other ones, and I hope that by the end that Denise has a better she just handles it much better, because she just seemed like she was struggling so much. I mean, it's like, girl, I just want to, I'm saying, like, if you was my friend, like, I just couldn't take it. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Like, dudes, like, you guys are horrible. You harm people. It just, I get how the gang mentality is very hard to fight. I get how the group can create an energy, and until something's eradicated, we get excited about campaigns, even campaigns to annihilate people. And I get that. It's so damaging though, and it's so hurtful when you're the one that everyone's coming for. Been there. And the world feels very small when all the people that used to admire you and laugh and enjoy your company are disgusted by you, and they're just giving you versions of conversations that they had outside of your presence. Like, that shit makes your world feel so small, and it can be so depressing. So I can only imagine what that's like to do that in front of the world. Oh, that's a lot. I'll see you next week. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up.